Okay. Welcome back to the All Ages Piano Lounge. Slightly different perspective this time. Let me make sure I'm actually in the shot. Who knows? I guess this is sort of amateur hour here, right? So I've got sitting on my stool without my backrest, but anyway, I have two of these A90s. One up top here. This one up top is actually probably slightly better shape. This one here is a used one that I bought some years after. And the idea being was that I sort of had this one that I could leave, wherever. And ironically, the only place I ever left it was at Rob Collins' place when I was jamming with him for a little bit there with some of the other guys from the South Shore way there. But that didn't last a stupid amount of time because COVID hit and no one was able to get together and no one practiced and just Rob and I basically, so it fell apart pretty quick. But anyway, this one here, it does have sounds internally hooked up to it. Very comparable to what I would have had when I played with you guys in Encore. My old RD600 that I had, which was I love that keyboard. Those sounds sort of that era, the 90s. This has sort of those presets sort of built into them. It's only got 128 sounds, but it was the cream of the crop in its day for those sounds. But they're very, 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 very dated by today's sort of standards, if you will. But I run my Integra 7 sound module into this to give me the different things that I need, the different textures and stuff that I might need. So it's got the Phantom, geez, I keep saying Phantom, but the Integra is actually the sound quality is even better than the Phantom. The samples are much better. And I can do some stuff with this, like, that's just a straight up out of the box Integra piano. I've got some layers in here. This is more of a jazzy sort of feel. Piano and strings. Piano and strings kind of blended in there. More of a rock grand. My Beatle piano. We should do this one, right? I was thinking of this one the other day too, because we're talking about Beatles songs, and I was thinking of, and I don't know how to play this, so I'm totally fuck this up. But all I know it's in the key B. But I think it has a sax or some string, or not string, but wind instruments in the solo part. Penny Lane, there is a ba ba da ba da da da. Different blends here. And I've actually got this set up so that the one thing that I can do that's kind of unique to this keyboard, if I go back to the very first preset, which is just the piano, click of the button, I can add different things. So that's just, I add a slight piano. Adding a little strings now to it, just flick of the button. No strings, strings. If I want to add a pad instead, add a little pad underneath, it's a synthetic pad. So I've got it set up so I can do kind of neat things with it. And I've got a lot of pianos in here because it's kind of more my thing. Elton John piano. I'm not sure what this one is. I think this is like what I've got over on the Phantom over there, I think. I don't know how the song goes with it. Might be able to use that for that Bee Gees song. Not sure. Echo Grand, I got echo in here. Just get a little extra reverb on it. My good old Gowan keyboard. I've actually got this because Gowan plays it all in octave, so I can play it up here, right? So I've got all the doubled up on the piano. Cheaterson, but it's really hard for me to play those big octaves. My hands don't stretch quite the same way. If you're ever playing Octopus's Garden. Then I've got, of course, ones with different effects, chorus. I've got EPs in here. It's got some chorus on that one. Phaser. Here's a... It's a whirly with a bit of phaser on it. 80s sort of EP with a pad. Flanger. Delay. Fat EP. Not sure what that one is. Dyno, this is my straight up. This is my out of the box Integra. Piano stock or electric piano. Kind of like the Fender Rhodes sort of thing. Wurlitzer. I always like the Wurlitzer because it's got a lot of bite to it. Like if you're trying to play, whatever. Got like nice bark to it. 80s DX sort of Yamaha electric piano sounds. More 80s sort of stuff. DX7 phase. This would be like the Babe sound, and I could add strings to it by just pressing the button. Babe, I'm leaving. Some more of electric grand, like a CP. Something from the 80s, you know, like the old CP 70s and 80s. Tremolos, clavinet. I don't really do a lot of clavinet stuff. This be more for you, maybe, right? This has actually got, I think, yeah. So this is actually a patch I made for Babe, actually, because I've got the, like on the Phantom, I've got the string down low here. This is the organ out of the Integra, which is not horrible, but I much prefer my VK. This is actually, I got to set up for my VK right in here. And this is one thing I don't know about this patch. I have no idea why I can't get any volume out of this patch. It's kind of weird. I've got it set up for just piano, but it's nothing in there. Big Breath synth. 80s pad. Horns. I'm a believer. Midnight hour horn, stack horns. Just a couple different patches. Booty synth. Footloose. Heaven. This is the Heaven patch. Get the idea, same as what I had before. This is actually flute for down under. This is that same patch, out of touch. Sweet Caroline. How does that go now? I forget. Anyway, you get the idea. Sweet Caroline. It's sort of a. Then actually, that one's got the horn part up on the top part of the keyboard. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Let's Go by the Cars. It's a cool song. Let's Go by the Cars. Let's go. This is just what I needed. Separate Ways by Journey. separate way, world apart. Burning in love. I forget how it goes. Burning in love. Jump, of course. Too much time. Kind of like the same patch, but I got no sampling up here. It's all I can't trigger samples from here because it's got no internal sample memory. But I got all the basic stuff. Same thing. I got the controllers turned off on the patch, so I can sustain the note here, but not have it down there. So I have similar sort of setups, right, for different things. Same thing with Final Countdown, I guess. Much better lead sound than on the Phantom, just because it's a nicer synth patch. But anyway, yeah. So that's my A90. The keyboard itself, it's much lighter than the. Man, it's hard to sit on this fucking stool. Much lighter than the action-wise, much lighter than the Phantom, because it's the older graded hammer action that used to be on the RD600 that I had. Same thing. And I like playing this one as far as like just the speed and the comfortability of your hands. I find it's a little bit better for me personally. It's not as heavy. But if you were to listen to me playing this, if I turned the volume off on the keyboard altogether, I don't know if I can turn the master volume. You can probably hear that. I don't know if you really hear that or not, but it's pretty clunky if you listen to the Phantom. If I was to play over here, that and actually it's plugged in still, but you don't hear that mechanical clunk from the keyboard. So with your headphones on, if you're playing and practicing by yourself with your headphones on, you can hear people playing the piano. But that's the older style. The new one, they upgraded the keys quite a bit. It made it a lot less clunky. But still, this action I kind of prefer it just because of the lighter touch of the keys. It's not a synthesizer action key. It's obviously it's a weighted piano key, but it's just there's more forgiveness to it, I guess. I don't know, just preference, I suppose, right? Many people prefer the PA5 or whatever it's called over there and the Phantom because it's a lot heavier, like a real piano. But when you're talking about a controller, when you're doing different things, like if you're playing different types of voices, you don't always want to have piano's fine, if you're playing piano or electric piano, you want to have that heavier feel. Sure, yeah. But if you're going to play a synthesizer sound, if you're going to play a string sound, if you're going to play a horn sound, or if you're going to play, whatever, a flute sound, any of those other sounds, it's technically better to have a lighter, thinner action. And because, as a keyboard player, you typically have to play those types of other sounds. Organ is another example. I mean, I could play the organ on this and be pretty comfortable with it, even if I was like doing percussive hits or slides and glissandos. I could still play the organ pretty comfortably on this unit. So that's the big benefit that it has, in my personal opinion. But it's outdated. You can't buy this action anymore, so it doesn't really matter. So I just happen to have a like for these, so I've held on to these two for that reason. And it's more than playable. I can certainly bring this type of keyboard out, no problem, because like I said, I have two of them. And I've got a special memory card, you call it an SD card, but it's a compact flash. It's a big fucking ugly looking special Roland proprietary sort of card that I can basically. So if this keyboard was sitting in your basement, so to speak, I have a mixer. I'd have my shit all run all the cables hooked up to the mixer with an out going to you, and then I would basically be able to program sounds up here the way that I wanted them. If I wanted to sort of have the specific splits and layers and whatever, I could create them specifically for the jams or the songs that we were playing, and then I could just basically take that little compact flash card and save it to it, and then bring that to the jam, plug it in the back of this, and reflash this keyboard, and it'll go to what I programmed on the one here at home. So that was the convenient factor of this particular keyboard. It's just not as versatile overall with, like I said, the sampling technology and the exceptional amount of patch editing you could do on this unit with like layers and splits and zone controlling and stuff. This has some of that functionality, but it's much more limited and more, bare bones. It's pretty much right on the front panel here. This one here, you can go deep into menus and do a lot more intricate stuff. Like I said, just this fact that you can play 16 sounds out of this unit, so you can make some really big fat fucking patches out of this unit and layer. Think about splitting 16 sounds across a keyboard. You can do a lot of stuff, right? So really, depending on what you were trying to do or what the intent was for the gigs or the songs you were doing, you could certainly do a lot of stuff. But the sampling is the big thing on the Phantom. The Phantom actually, something I didn't show you before, and Phantom actually has its own pretty cool drum beat too. I don't know how many different patterns it's got. It's got 64 different styles, I guess, that you can edit and manipulate and pick different kits, and it's pretty wild. That's just a stock one that I use. I think I call it Blair's kit, but it's just a pop kit that I use. Simple beat defaults to 120 beats per minute or whatever, right? So you can do, it's a great practice tool. Plus, if you were writing songs, it would be a great way to write tunes. Or even to jam along to if you had other players, like I said, just if you didn't have a drummer, albeit, not perfect for totally covering any song. You'd have to pick some basic beats. But I've got the samples like you using karaoke version. I have hundreds of those karaoke version files that I've collected over the years. Mostly, I can edit them on the computer pretty quickly and create backing tracks for jamming. Or if I knew in advance if you came over to jam one day, brought your guitar and plugged into my I should show you that. My jam hub here. 1 second. Where is it? It's over here. So I bought this when the company was going out of business because it had been around for a few years and it was a great idea. When I heard they were going out of business, I was like, fuck, I really should get one of those because they're not going to be around anymore. But I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's called a Jam Hub. This one's the Tour Bus model, which is the biggest model that they sell, which is basically they've got 6 ports. That you basically, they're stereo. You can plug your like a stereo 1/4-inch cable in, and you have a volume control for your headphones out. And then you've got basically on the front panel here, you've got all 6 mixes. So once you create your own mix, so if your guitar went into channel 1, for example, you actually got a microphone into a XLR input as well, so everyone can have their own XLR input for a microphone, so that they can, whether you're singing, background, talking, whatever, you could just have a mic, because you're all on headphone, right? So everyone's got their own instrument input, microphone input, and of course, headphone out. And that allows you to say, so if I was on channel 5, and the drummer was on channel 6, and you were on channel 1, well, you can once you mix yourself where you want it, you can turn your volume at whatever you want here, and then of course Blair, he's way too fucking loud. Turn those keyboards down. Jesus Christ, man. So turn down channel 5. The drummer, I want a little bit more drummer, so we turn the drummer up on number 6. So you can do your own custom mix on each individual channel. It's a pretty neat little idea for a portable jam solution, and it's light. It weighs nothing. You can technically have 7 people. It's got 6 on the front panel, but technically there's a studio in, or like a monitor in. So there's a 7th input on the back here. But I mean, 6 is a lot for most groups. I mean, most people aren't going to be 6 musicians hanging around. But that was the biggest model they had, the tour bus. But the cool thing is too that it's got an SD card slot on the back, and you can just slide your SD card slot in. You can go up here and do a custom mix for what's being recorded on on the SD card, and then you can literally record it right to the SD card. It'll record your whole jam, depending on the size of your SD card, of course, right? But once you press the record button, it starts recording what everyone's doing. You can have a snapshot of the group, what they're playing, and then you could take that, or take those tracks and put them in your computer, either USB out of here, or or take the SD card out and put it directly into your computer, and put it into your DAW, and whatever software you might use. Edit it up, cut pieces out, remove the bullshit talking in between. And just capture the songs or whatever. Whatever. You could obviously use this as a standalone recording device in a way. I mean, it doesn't have built-in effects and that kind of stuff, but you could take the raw tracks and take them out to like I said, to a DAW of some kind, and add whatever you wanted, right? So I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, it takes all 6 channels. The data as well, I think somehow. I don't know how it does that, but I'm pretty sure it records all the individual channels separately too. So you can actually mix and edit the channels separately, which is pretty cool. So anyway, yeah. Because I love the gown, right? I can throw that stuff in there. But yeah, so there you go. There's my A-90. I won't take too much more of your time. Sorry you had to see the side of my face like that. I probably should have given you the other side of my face because I think I got a pimple over here right now. I think. But anyway, there you go. I've got this keyboard up here. I don't know if you'll see it in the thing. This is an A30. So these are A90s, and this is an A30. This is a really cheesy keyboard. It's a controller as well. No sounds in it. It's very, very light. It's a synthesizer. But this sort of keyboard weighs I don't even know if it weighs 10 pounds, to be honest with you. It's really, really light. But this sort of thing I could run the organ through if I wanted to. If I had this, I could leave this as well. And my VK organ module would just plug into this. And then my Integra would plug into this. And I'd have basically 3 lines out going into my mixer, which is actually pretty heavy. The mixer's pretty heavy, but I could leave the mixer there as well because I've got an old Yamaha MGX 12 or something like that. It's a powered mixer, but I wouldn't send a power signal out to you. I'd send a headphone out. That way you could plug it into yours if you wanted to, and I could just split the headphone out and run it to an amplifier as well. Like I got a little tiny Train or a 10-inch speaker amplifier. It's supposed to be 200 watts. It's not even close, but it weighs like 5 pounds. Well, maybe it weighs 10 pounds, but it's a really super light amplifier. And you can put it on a stand if you want. So I could actually stick it up on a little tripod stand and put it up closer to my face, kind of like a hotspot or something. I might even down the road buy 2 of them and a second one because it's a neat little super portable amp. You can sit it on on a 45. For me it weighs like nothing, so it's a great little thing that I can lug and leave. I've got a big KC-880 which is heavy as shit. It's like 150 or 120 pounds or something. It's hard. It's a 2-person lift, that one. It's got side handles on it, but it's a gorgeous amp. It's like 300 and something watts. It's powerful as fuck. So on stage it's a great amplifier. But you can't lug it in and out of a basement. You pretty much fucking kill yourself. So even 2 people, it's a huge challenge. So, but this keyboard is a little bit lighter than the Phantom, but still, I'm sure it's got to be in the at least 55-pound range, I would say, give or take. It's got a very similar build. It's just a little thinner and a little less fancy gizmos on it. But anyway, without further ado, Oldie Piano Lounge, Fingers Malone, signing off from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, which I assume is at your place. But I could be wrong. I've made assumptions before that were totally off base. Anyway, I've got to go work on some D&D, Dungeons & Dragons. That's right, I'm playing a game tonight. I'm actually building some characters for a game that I will actually be playing in as well, maybe in a future date. So I got that on the go. Pretty exciting stuff. But I'm actually DMing a game or dungeon mastering a game. So I'm controlling or running a game myself here tonight. So it's a gothic horror game. It's going to be a lot of fun. The guys are enjoying it. So I'm going to get prepared for that. And I'll say adieu. Take care. We'll talk soon.